Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for this special live session. I'm Itzik Amiel, and we are here with this weekly switch series called Switch It On, where we share ideas, high insights, and inspiration to help you as a professional to switch relationship to revenue, referrals, and reputation and stand out. And you're very invited. So if you watch me right now, it is live. And please come in, join, and put your name in the chat. Let me know who you are in the comments under the video. Let me see who you are, that you are with us in the room. I can see you all joining. Thank you for that. Thank you, David, Anna, Reyes, Gavridi, Jumas, Sharima, Ramesh, Ransi, Ordon, Dilani, Vankula, Kujuma, Steven, Dargid. And see many of you, but just put your name in the chat box that everybody else will know as well. To remind you all, every strategy or solution we share in this episode, we can help you get much more out of it by advising your firm, mentor you, and your colleague, of course, and even execute it for you with our done for you services. So never be shy to ask or get connected to let me add value to your practice, your organization, and your career. Okay. So if you're okay with that, I hope you are joining because you know we are going to talk about it today about thanking for referrals. Again, the subject of today, let me put it for all of you to see it, but thanking for the referral, that's the subject of today. If you join us, welcome. Thank you very much for all of you joining right now. Yes, we are live, those of you asking. And specifically, I want to talk about how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors when thanking your referrals. And that's exactly the connection between building relationship and personal branding and standing out of the crowd. Again, if you have any question during the session, you're very welcome to put it in the chat on there. And of course, let us know who you are when you're joining right now in the chat under the video and put your name and where you're dialing from so we all know. And thanks again for joining us. So the motto of this episode is to share with you and emphasize a wisdom I actually learned many years ago. And that really, I can say, brought some magic to my professional practice when I was still practicing, and of course, to the business. And for many more others, or thousands of people, I mentor and teach that and implement it together with them. And that's never underestimate the power of a thank you. Let me repeat it again. Never underestimate the power of thank you. Now, a strong claim really to start an episode, but I want to make it more practical for you because I dearly believe in it, and I'm sure many of you as well. Now, little story for you. I think someone a while back for helping me find a lawyer actually was in Africa for a large oil and gas project I was involved in. And this lady replied to my note thanking me by inviting me as a guest speaker for a group she chaired. Now, I'm of course shortening the story, but I didn't even know she chaired this group, and I had never considered speaking there. And this speaking opportunity would never have occurred if I hadn't taken a moment to say thank you. And of course, I realized it because I did that, right? Moreover, by the way, this speaking opportunity even brought to me 3 new clients. Amazing, right? All of you probably would love to have it. So it started me thinking about how often saying thank you turns into a paying business. Of course, with authenticity, of course, with sincerity, but how many of those action of kindness really important, definitely in our days, nowadays when authenticity and kindness, etc., are very much practical terms, not only just a nice thing to do, how much of it can bring you business? And how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors when you thanking your referrals? And specifically in that day, because I know many people missing that opportunity. Now, we all know, and we all know for the many research of prove it again and again, that referrals are one of the most valuable sources of new business for lawyers and any other professionals. But they also require a thoughtful and personalized approach to really to show your appreciation and encourage more referrals in the future. I take it for granted. I think that's a assumption I could do in the beginning of this session. I hope you agree with me. So I decided in this episode to share with you how to think referrals in the context of referrals, of course, and how to use different strategies to stand out from your competitors. So thanks again for joining me. And let me start by sharing the first question I want to answer in short. And the first question I want to answer in short is why thanking for referrals matters. I mean, I owe you that explanation before even going and giving you the way to do it. But before I'm asking the question again, I want to say thank you to those of you joining. And today, it's really a lot of people joining. To thank wherever you are. I can see that some of you even in vacation results. So thank you for that. And again, if you are there and you're joining and you want to make sure that we all know who you are, where you're dialing from, please put your name in the chat, in the comments on there. And also, what do you think? You're enjoying it, not enjoying it? If you have any question as well. So again, the first question is why thanking referrals matters. Let me say it clear and loud. Thanking referrals is not only a polite gesture, but also a smart business move. By expressing your gratitude, you can strengthen your relationships with your existing client, who are more likely, by the way, to refer you again and become loyal advocates for your brand if you do so. You can also impress your new prospects, right? Who will see that you value the trust and interest, of course, giving them your sincere attention, and that you're willing to go the extra mile to provide excellent service. But also by thinking referral, you can create a strong brand loyalty and will lead to more referrals and further success for your practice, for your business. So now when I think in short and very fast, you know why it is important to thank your referrals. Of course, the obvious question I want to answer is how to thank your referral sources in a way that make you stand out and still be authentic. And let me share with you almost 8 different possible ways to thank your referrals. And of course, every way depends on the specific situation, the specific referral source, the opportunity to send you, etc., etc. But I want to share all of them. So please never treat all your referrals in the same way. First, the one that really fits, but I want to share all those ways with you. At least I give you the knowledge, okay? So the first scenario in thanking for referrals in person, or in other words, I want to say how to thank referrals in person. And that's the first way of referring. First, referrals, do it in person, face to face, but how do you do it right? So again, those of you joining me right now, we're speaking about thanking for referrals, and I'm glad to have you to join me again. If you have any question, please put it in the chat below. So the first thing that just started, by the way, those of you asking, the first way to thank for referrals is in the person, face to face. So how do we thank people in referral face to face? I must admit that one of the most effective ways I found till these days to thank referrals is to do it in person, whenever possible, of course. Because this shows that you respect the time of the other people and give them attention, and that you're genuinely interested in meeting them and learning about their needs, about their wishes. You can also thank referrals in person by inviting them maybe to a coffee, to a lunch, or meeting with you, or by visiting their office or even their house in some cases, depending, of course, on the nature of the business and your relationship. But I want you to pay attention to is that when you thank referral in person or face-to-face meeting, make sure that you'll be warm, friendly, and definitely professional. These are very important things when you are giving your way when you're meeting face-to-face. And not to mention, and of course, the person name, well, refer to them because you want to mention that to give, again, this compound effect. How do I do it? So if I already have a professional connection with someone, I'm trying to build one, I take someone to maybe a coffee, a lunch, or even event. And prior to that, when trying to get my foot in the door, what I do, I visit the office, if I could, of course, and deliver some kind of goodies or something special to them and their stuff to be memorialized, to be top of mind. And that's dialed back to once a quarter, maybe, to show appreciation. So I'm not going to do it one time. I'll continue once a quarter in a different way to thank them in different way they're going to hear today, just to get to be top of mind and really show my sincere appreciation. But many times you cannot meet, of course, somebody in person, right? Especially if you are not able to meet them in person right away, since maybe you live far away from them or you live far away from each other, or if they prefer a more digital communication. And nowadays, many people do as well. So in that case, you may choose to thank them by email. So again, the next way I want to ask this question, how do you think the referrals By email. The second way to thank people is by email. But how do you do it right? Emails is also a convenient way, of course, to follow up with referrals after meeting them, after you had a phone call with them, and to remind them of the next steps or action you want to take. So when you thank referrals by email, you want to make sure to use a clear and catchy subject line. The subject line of the email should be very important to personalize your message, even with the names and details, and to include in it call to action. Don't forget that. Something like scheduling maybe a consultation, maybe signing up for a trial on something, or sharing a resource with them, or inviting them somewhere, something call to action. And although I understand that digital communication in part of the world we live in, it is last of my list when it comes to a really heartfelt thank you. It gets lost really in the daily work of email. I understand that because people are doing other things, and it doesn't really make you stand out. But again, it is better something than nothing when it comes to thank your referral. So if that's the only way, do it by email. You want another option to thank your referral? Again, simple one is by phone or by an online call, for example, Zoom or Teams. So your question is, how do you thank referral? The third way, how do you thank referrals? By phone or by Zoom or Teams? If you want to add more personal touch to your phone calls, you also can thank your referrals by phone on email, right? Phone and sorry, in Zoom or Teams, because this can help you build rapport and trust with your prospects, and to address any questions or concerns that they may have. You can also use, by the way, the phone to thank referrals who are not comfortable in meeting in person, or maybe again located in different area or time zone than you are. But when you thank referrals by phone or by Zoom or by Team, make sure to be respectful of their availability, of their time, and to introduce yourself and your business very short, and express your enthusiasm and your gratitude consistently. Because that's the purpose of the call, not to pitch on you and tell them about yourself. No, it's not a pitching call. It's a gratitude. It's a thank call. And you have to express it and with enthusiasm again and again. You won't probably want to practice the call. This is what I do many of my mentoring. So we're practicing the call in advance and even scripting the main points you want to carry in that call, not to miss anything for yourself, to make sure you're not forgetting this important part and that you do it right. Because you have one opportunity to convince really your sincere interest to thank somebody, and you better do it in the right way. And because if you do it the right way, again, you'll have the compound effect that they refer you again and again. Now, if you need, by the way, an example template, how to do it, send me an email, send me a direct message. I'd be happy to help you. It's not for now, for the live session, but if you want any help there, let me know. Just send me a message. Next is one of my favorite ways to thank referrals. And you know what this one is? By sending a handwritten postcard. And those of you who are mentor and knows me, and I helped a lot of you, know that's my favorite way. Yes, you heard me right. A handwritten postcard. And those of you, again, work when, sometimes I let people work hundreds of them. So why? Or maybe I should ask, how do you thank people by your referrals by postcard? How do you do it right? And again, before I continue, I just want to say hello to those who are joining right now: Rachel, Rebecca, Menki, Naron, Stefano, Chuli, wow, Francesco, so many people, some people in the world. I cannot mention all your name, but do me a favor. If you're here and you want to say your name, make sure you put it in the comments that we all know. So thank you again. We're speaking about thanking referrals in different ways, and I appreciate all of you there with me. And I already share a few ways, and I'm now coming to the next way of thanking referrals. And I said one of my favorite, thanking referrals by handwritten postcards. See, in the age of texting and social media, most people no longer mail handwritten notes or letters, right? How many do you get on a daily basis? And if they do, it's usually only on a few special occasions. Maybe Christmas, holiday time, I don't know, whatever. But you don't get any of them, because email is primary way for the most business to connect with their relationship, also for you, with your practice. And it's not be necessarily be so meaningful anymore nowadays. So, as an alternative to stand out the crowd, try writing a nice thank you note. A nice thank you note on a postcard. And they may be more likely to open a physically letter compared to an email. Even CEOs of companies who you're sending them, most probably they open it themselves. While email, maybe somebody else scanning it for them. And when your referral sources receives your postcards, the joy may be as tangible as the postcard itself. And I know because I get many times postcards, and when I'm getting it, I'm also feeling this joy, although I'm teaching it. So the first and the most important thing to do is to send a personalized thank you message to your referral sources as soon as possible. And I'll suggest if you're on a vacation resort, buy cards wherever you are, write in them. Don't need a vacation. When you're back in the office, send them to all your referral resources. And don't use a generic template or a mass printed postcard. Do me a favor. Don't find shortcut over here, because if you want to be sincere, if you want to see the compound effect, if you want to get more referrals, write a sincere and specific handwritten postcard that really acknowledges their efforts and express your gratitude. And mention, by the way, on the postcard how the referrals help you and what value you provided to the referral clients and how you look forward to working with them again. You're very welcome to write it also on the postcard. Now, I'm aware it's a lot of work, but every single person who follow my advice always thanking for the opportunities this method, simple but not easy, this method brought really to their practice. They get so many more referrals from it. In my experience, I found that a personalized thank you message goes a long way in nurturing and strengthening the relationship with the referral sources. And definitely one of the most important things I always believed in, it keep you top of mind. So taking the time to craft a sincere and specific note or postcard not only demonstrates your gratitude, but also show your value and appreciate that the effort they put in referring clients to your practice or to you. And by the way, if you work for a large or a medium firm, some of you are, do not expect to get this idea from any marketing team or anybody in the office. Many of them, they're not going to give it to you. See, this is a lot of work, and they're not going to write it for you, and they're not going to buy millions of postcards for all the hundreds of partners of lawyers of the firm. I suggest you execute it personally. Take my advice, do it by yourself. After all, a personal touch of these postcards, what make you top of mind. So don't wait for others to arrange it for you. Arrange it yourself. Just go buy the postcard yourself. It takes 5 minutes and start writing them. Okay? You see how much I'm sincere about it. Again, if you have any question, type it in the comments below. And if not, I'm not done, because I have more way to show you how to thank referrals. And the next way that also possible is by thanking your referral by sending them a gift, either as a standalone gesture or as compliment to your in-person or your email or the phone you had with them communication. Okay? But so the next answer I want to answer, how do you thank referrals? By giving them gifts. A gift can show your generosity and creativity and really can create a memorable impression on your referral source or even your prospect. But to select and send a gift really takes time and more effort. That is why, by the way, it can be more appreciated by a lot of people. If you did your homework well and found what they really want, it takes time. However, you need to be careful not to overdo it or to violate, by the way, any ethical or legal rules. So be careful of that. But when you're not doing it, and I remember when I was in the bank and commercial director of Abinawa, then there I got once a golden pen, one of the clients said, thank you. And I had to declare it. I could not keep it for myself because it's a valuable thing. So you have to be careful not to overdo it, because when you choose a gift for your referrals, make sure to consider their preferences, their interests, their needs, and select something that is relevant, appropriate, and valuable. Because otherwise, what's the whole idea of giving gift? Because by selecting the right gift, you're not only thanking them and appreciating them, you also show you give sincere attention to them and their needs and their wishes, and have a strong interest to develop stronger business relationship with them. Got it? So that's how gift, but again, it's not work for everybody, doesn't work in every jurisdiction, but consider as another way of thanking your referrals. Want another way to thank your referrals? So another way is by giving them your feedback and recognition and how the referrals turned out. Again, if you have any question, type in the chat box because I want to answer the next question. How do we thank referrals? By giving them feedback and recognition. You want to let them know the outcome of the deal, the results you achieve, and the impact you made by the referral they sent to you. You could share a testimonial. You could share with them maybe a case study or maybe a success story that showcases their contribution to you getting these referrals. And with their permission, by the way, you can also publicly acknowledge and praise them on social media, your website, maybe your newsletter, and tag them or mention the name. I mean, I'm telling you, it's so sincere. And you can do it. By giving feedback and recognition is another way to thank people publicly. But again, ask permission, make sure you're not embarrassing nobody, and you're not doing just to make yourself look good. Okay? Do it because you're sincere, because you really want to thank them loudly and clear. Again, somebody, if you have any question, type in the chat. I want you to see I'll give you the answer. I promise you during the session. But again, you can also, by the way, thank your referrals by asking them for their feedback and their suggestions. So way number 6 I want to answer is, how do you thank referrals? By giving them feedback and asking from their input. In fact, you can do this way as part of any other way I've mentioned or by itself. So it's not instead of, it's next to. And I base this way on the power of giving attention. See, the important discovery I made while writing my best-selling book, The Attention Switch. So if you not have a copy of it, go to my website or go to theattentionswitch.com. You can get there a copy of it. But actually, you could pay. Listen to the verb. You can pay with your sincere and genuine attention in many occasions. It's worth much more than money and other gifts if you give sincere attention. That's why we say we pay attention. It's like money. So you can thank your referral sources by asking them for feedback and suggestions on how you can improve your service or your communication or feedback on your referral process. Show them that you value their opinions and that you're always looking for ways to serve them better, of course. And do not forget to listen to their input and implement their ideas if possible. So not just let them send you or ask for it, listen to the input. And by the way, in the same opportunity, you can also ask them for other challenges they're facing and how can you help them solve them. So think about it. Again, great opportunity to thank your referral, but again, put you top of mind, and I guarantee you make you stand out of all your competitors because none of them doing it. And this is just golden of opportunities. You want another way to thank your referrals? I told you I have almost 8 of them. So number 7 is thanking referrals by inviting them to events and activities. So how do you thank your referrals? By inviting them to events and activities. Because that's another way that we can also use as a follow-up, as you know, in creating value if you invite people to events and activities that you host or you attend. And what kind of event I'm talking about? It could be a webinar, it could be a workshop, it could be a conference, it could be a networking event, a social gathering, a fun activity, whatever it is. But by inviting them, you show them that you appreciate their presence and that you know or you want to build stronger rapport with them. And not to forget, of course, that you also create opportunities to interact with them, right? To learn more about them, to introduce them to other people you may also join to the event. Got it? So this is another way, using it in a very specific occasion because you don't want to manipulate nobody, but it's another way of thanking your referrals. Again, question in the comments below, and I want to continue with another creative way to thank your referrals and stand out. What about thanking your referrals with incentives? Let me explain and share with you how to thank your referrals with incentives. You may never thought about this way, but you can also think referrals with incentives such as discounts, coupons, vouchers, or free services. Now, I know it's a lot of you lawyers, accountant, professional service like myself. It's a bit difficult to understand. But that could be a great way to motivate your existing client to refer more people to your business, to your practice, and to reward them for the loyalty and support. But it also could be a great way to attract your new prospect who will see that you offer a competitive advantage and a great deal that anybody else don't do. In fact, the incentive can include discounts, coupons, voucher, or any free services given by your other clients. Because maybe your client is a restaurant or a shopping center, whatever it is, or car services. Your clients will be happy to give you coupons, but happy to give you discount that you can offer your referrals. So you actually help your clients get more exposure, get more business, get more clients for themselves. Something that everybody will appreciate, you see. And know that is, in this case, it might not cost you almost nothing if it is discount of somebody else's businesses. So you make them happy, costs you nothing, and you give them one valuable and wonderful thank you for your referrals. Because when you offer incentive for your referral sources, make sure really to set clear and fair terms and conditions, and to communicate clearly and transparently with your referral sources. So until now, I gave you 8 ways to thank your referrals. And I hope you agree with me. I see all of you standing there. I don't see you asking any question. I don't see interaction yet, but maybe you're listening and you're understanding that expressing your gratitude is a sound business strategy for your practice that should be a routine part of your practice. But it's not about using thank yous to get referrals. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. If you aren't sincere about your gratitude, it will show. See, all these many ways I shared with you in this episode to give thanks may suggest that you could spend your whole day thanking people, might be thinking. And that's not about thoughts, my friend. Referrals are the livelihood or lifeblood of any professional practice. So if you treat referrals resources with appreciation, you're likely to receive even more referrals in the future. Get it? I hope you understand it. It's the biggest resource for your business. So saying thank you isn't just a nice thing to do. It's a practical approach to strengthening your relationship, to encouraging referrals, to staying in touch with your network, and reminding people that your business is about. It's a wonderful thing to do. With thank yous leading to business in so many ways, perhaps you should become a significant part of your marketing strategy of your business. Just to say thank you to people is such an easy thing. It costs you nothing. As long as you keep your authenticity and not trying to manipulate anybody in this way. And by the way, thank you for joining me for this episode, buying my books, and sending referrals my way. I really appreciate it for all of you there, and I know you're thinking about it and I like it. And that's an opportunity to thank you again. I appreciate your trust and look forward to serving you in another episode. But now, my friends, it's your time to take action and implement all the ways you learned from me today to thank your referrals. Start with one, by the way. And I said postcard maybe could be an interesting one. I trust you got something interesting insights and how to thank your referrals and stand out from your competition. If you need our help in implementing it in your practice, or if you just want to learn how to build your authority or in your field and build better relationship with your clients or internally within the firm, is exactly what we do for our clients. Professionals like you and me around the world, we train them, we mentor them, and we're even doing the work for them. And by implementing the strategies, of course, in their practice. So send me an email and private message to see how can I help. And by the way, in the mentoring student camp starting from September, I have only one place left. So if you want to join, send me an email and we can discuss forward. Next week, we have another amazing top expert to discuss a new practical strategy to grow your practice and build better relationship, referrals, and reputation. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of the weekly Switch On interview series, follow me on LinkedIn by clicking the bell on my profile, or to go to the Switch Hub website. And here's on the screen, you can see it is hub.theswitch.ch, hub.switch.ch, where you can sign up to get my business development strategies and tips. Check the register to one of my new online courses and live workshop, many interesting one on business development and personal branding, client relationship, on conferences, networking with results, so many coming your way. Or join the Switch membership community to learn more how to grow your practice and brand. And you're very welcome to send me a private message or an email to ask any question and see how can I be a true value to you in your practice or your career. For now, I want to thank each one of you for joining us. See everyone next Tuesday. Yes, indeed, next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central European Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And remember, switch on and start thanking your referrals in more unique ways to stand out. Starting for now. Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for joining.